Hi guys and welcome. If you have good credit, you can dramatically improve your situation in life. After all, you're going to have an easier time applying for a mortgage or a car loan, and you'll be able to get the best terms. Not only that, but you could end up paying even less in insurance, and you may be able to get benefits from your utilities and more. On the other hand, if you've made some mistakes over time, you may find yourself struggling with some problems on your credit, and you'll have a harder time getting rid of those while you're at it. On this video, we're going to review the most important tips for those who would like to build or rebuild their credit. Let's start. 1. Make sure you can pay off your cards. There are a lot of people who think that when they get a good job, they'll be able to pay off their credit cards. But what happens is that you end up with a whole lot of debt and a whole lot of problems for your credit score. Think about this. Approximately 30% of your credit score comes from the amount of debt that you have. If you have a lot of debt and a large balance, you're already dropping that portion of your credit score. The most important thing is to make sure that whatever you charge each month, you're going to be able to pay off. In order to do that, you're going to need to know how much you're spending, and you'll need to put some limits on that spending. For some, this means leaving their credit cards behind when they travel or go shopping. 2. Use automatic payments. It's always a good idea to use automatic payments because this is going to keep you from falling into the trap of late payments. You want to make sure that everything you have to pay is going to be automatically taken care of for you. If your bills come out automatically, it's one less thing that you have to worry about, and it means you're never going to have to pay a late charge either. What's really great is that you're going to have no worries about mailing or anything like that either. After all, the company can charge you a late fee if your payment arrives late, even if you mailed it on time. With automatic payments, that's never going to be a problem. 3. Set up balance alerts. You can set up balance alerts that will send you a text message anytime that you spend a large amount. These alerts will let you know what's going on with your credit card and will allow you to stay aware of what you're spending so your bills are never a surprise. You even get to set your own limits if you want to, so make sure you set those limits to notify you as soon as you've spent 30% of your credit limit, or maybe even less. 4. Think twice before canceling your cards. Unless you're paying for a fee, your best bet is to keep your credit cards open and with a $0 balance. You can start using a credit card, but keeping the old one open means that you're lowering your debt to credit ratio. It also means you're going to improve another area of your credit report. You have a portion of your credit score that comes from the age of credit. This means you get a better score based on having had a credit card for a longer period of time. If you close out a credit card, you're going to affect this ratio, and you're going to lower your score. Plus, there's the utilization rate that we mentioned. If you have less available credit and the same amount of credit that you're using, then you're definitely going to be decreasing your score, which is something that you don't want. The only reason to close an old account is if it's charging you a fee, or if you will be tempted to use that account. Otherwise, leave it open with a $0 balance and let it help you. 5. Have few cards. You don't want to open new credit cards all the time because they're only going to hurt you in the long run. Most stores will offer you discounts if you sign up for their card, but that makes it really hard for you to stay credit savvy. You end up with a lot of debt and you might not be able to keep track of all the due dates. That's going to make it harder for you to be smart. If you're just starting out with credit, it's a good idea to only have 1 to 2 cards at the most. This keeps you informed about what you're doing and makes it super simple for you to pay attention to your spending and your payments. You definitely don't want to make things too hard on yourself. 6. Keep your credit utilization low. You never want to max out the amount of credit that you have available. The more money you spend on your credit cards, the worse it's going to look on your credit score. So that's something to pay attention to. If you've spent 40% or more of your available line of credit, overall, you definitely want to make some changes because that's going to cause a whole lot of interest and it's going to be difficult to get new credit if you need it. 7. Watch for fees. There are a lot of different fees out there with credit cards, and you definitely want to make sure you're not getting sucked into them. Research suggests that as much as $163 billion of fees were charged in 2016 alone, and that's definitely not something you want to be a part of. So, make sure you're watching out for different types of fees. If you have a card with an annual fee, you could be paying as much as $25 to $500 a year, just for the privilege of being able to use that card. Instead, look for cards that don't charge an annual fee, or find a way to get the fee waived, or even reduced. You'll need to make sure you're paying your credit card bill on time as well to avoid any of the other fees that can creep up on you. 8. Use a secured credit card. For those who don't have credit but want to start building it up, one of the best ways to go is a secured card. These will help you to prove yourself and to build up your credit so that you can get the type of credit that you're looking for in the future. 9. Don't take a cash advance. A cash advance means you're taking money from your available credit card balance to use as cash. That's definitely not something you want to use because it charges you a whole lot of interest. You'll start paying a high rate immediately after you take that money out of the account. 10. Maximize the grace period. Most credit card charges are going to come with a type of grace period. That grace period happens when your statement has closed, but your next payment isn't quite due yet. Overall, it could be as much as 25 days. If you pay your statement balance before the date that your payment is due, you don't pay interest, but you could actually maximize this even further. If you make a large purchase at the very beginning of the statement period, you're actually going to have a total of 50 plus days to pay it instead of the usual month. That's going to give you almost 2 months of that free money, so don't forget to ask your card company about this before apply. Of course, you'll need to keep track of when the statement period is actually over and when you can make the purchases to take advantage of this larger period without having to pay for that purchase you really need to make. 11. Use a spending tool. Most banks offer some type of spending tool that will let you look at where you're spending the most money. You can even look at different categories, and you can check them out month by month or over a set period of time. That way, you can see where your spending is getting a little out of hand. If you check out the online system for your bank, you're probably going to find these tools. Then, make sure that you're keeping an eye on how your spending goes and where you may need to make some changes. 12. Keep an eye on your credit report. You get a credit report from 3 different agencies, which are TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax. From them, potential lenders are going to get information about you, and they're going to decide whether or not to give you the credit you're looking for, and at what interest rate. Your credit history is going to tell them how much of a risk you are. Now, your report is going to include a lot of information, including your types of credit, whether you consistently pay on time, how many credit inquiries you've had, and more. If your report is accurate, it's going to display the type of risk that you are. If it's not accurate, however, it could be a problem because you could end up getting denied for credit without it actually being your fault. You want to make sure that you're consistently checking your credit report to make sure that you don't have any errors showing up. You can do this by checking out annualcreditreport.com, which will help you with each of your credit reports once a year. If you really want to maximize this opportunity, get only one credit report every 4 months. Then the next time get a report from the next bureau. 13. Only apply for the credit you need. It can be tempting to open a lot of credit accounts in order to increase your credit score, but that can actually backfire on you quite a bit. If you apply for credit, you get what's called a hard inquiry, which shows up on your credit report. Too many of these make it look like you're trying to get too much credit and like you just don't have the funds to support your spending. That definitely doesn't look good on your credit report. This actually affects 10% of your overall credit score, so you want to make sure that you're avoiding this problem. You want to be able to get credit when you do apply for it, and you want lenders to think that you're a good risk. 14. Avoid late payments. Paying your bills on time is going to be a huge portion of your credit report as well. That's why it's so important to watch your due dates and make sure that your bills are arriving at the company by that due date, not leaving your house by that date. If you pay late, you could end up with penalties, higher interest, and definitely bad marks on your credit report. Setting reminders for yourself for when to make payments is a good idea. Also, you can set up automatic bill pay to make sure that your bank or other financial institution is making the payments for you. That way, you don't have to worry about being late on your payments ever again. 15. Use credit cards to build and increase your credit score. If you use your credit the right way, you can absolutely make a big difference in your life. You can increase your credit score, and you can get some great credit options as a result. You'll be able to get the types of credit that you want when you want them. Just make sure that you're paying off those credit cards each month so you don't have to worry about the interest charges, and also choose the right card for your needs. For those who don't have a credit score, it's a good idea to look for a way to get one. A student card can be opened by college students, and can be co-signed by your parent or guardian. For those who aren't in school, a secured card could be the way to go. These will allow you to put the money you're going to spend into a secure account, and then you can spend with the credit card. You get to use a credit card to build up your score, and the financial institution can make sure that they're going to get paid the money because it's already in your account and waiting. From there, you'll be able to get a standard credit card in no time. That's it for now. On our website, you can find more posts and podcasts, as well as calculators and other financial tools. What is your tip to build credit? We would love to know your thoughts, so feel free to share them with us in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed it, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel to get the best financial videos for free.